sorry. I thought we still had a couple more seconds. I was just like, I like this. Every time.
Yeah, I know. It's YouTube's personal elevator music. All right. How is everyone? Roman, we see you. We are praying for you and your son for your sanity. I'm so sorry that happened. I hope it wasn't a serious accident. But you know, if you need anything, like don't hesitate, even if it's just like prayers from the community. So
yes,
we are here
Roman.
for you. Yes.
Speaking of Roman, last week I missed your donation. I know you said it was okay, but I'm still gonna say it anyway. You said last week for $5, you know what goes good with a Hobbit breakfast? Literary Soul Sisters.
Roman is awesome. So thank you for that, Roman. Who else is here? Cappy, my vampire, is here. Hello, behave. Your inner mom will definitely be watching you. Shield Wall of Dragons, thank you so much for being here. And yes, we will keep you updated when we find those black elves and beardless female dwarves.
Looking real hard for them right now.
We are. We have some news on that front this morning. Dawn, thank you so much for being here, my dear. You are always welcome in. Dovey, thank you so much for being here. We definitely appreciate all you guys coming and watching us. We know it's early in the morning, so it means the world to us that you guys turn out and show support. Dawn said, I would definitely consider myself a normie with Lord of the Rings and saw only the 3 movies, but the more I've seen of the Rings of Power, the more I understand why the fans are pissed off. Yes. Again, if the normies can see it, again, I think that's telling. And I think Dawn said that G&G is streaming right now at MegaCon, and they're talking about the Rings of Power. It's just everyone is, this is just going to be an ongoing topic until it's done. So
well, we have exclusive news that I don't think anyone is talking about yet.
Yeah, because didn't you say this dropped today? Or do you know when this video got put up?
I have no idea when the video got put up, but I was just checking out because, I remember on your Sunday stream last week, we went to IMDb to look at some stuff, and I was like, I'll check it out. Let's see if there's any new episode, summaries or plot stories or anything. And I saw this, and I was just like, oh, yeah, we must talk about this now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Cajun.
Like the movies I saw, missed number 3, loved the books. Yes. I'm thinking once we get done with Tolkien, we need to do a deep dive into C.S. Lewis. I think that would be deeply appropriate for us to do. Because I've never read any of I've just read Chronicles of Narnia. I haven't read any
really?
of them. I have the Screwtape Letters. And I know that there's what the 4 languages of love he wrote. I've never read any of his other stuff. It's always been Tolkien. I love C.S. Lewis, but it's always been Tolkien with me. So,
have you read his space trilogy?
I haven't. No, and my aunt loved it. My aunt loved C.S. Lewis, and so
I have not read that yet. So we could read that together.
That would be fun. That'd be real fun. Okay.
Yes, Cajun. I am all for that.
I just saw Kathy subscribed to my YouTube. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that.
Thank you, good sir.
Hi, guys. Thank you. He's fine. Carl less so. I need a wizard. I hear you, Roman. But so definitely praying for your sanity now, because that's going to be important. So deep breaths. You guys will get through this. So I'm going to go back and forth. Salty got a video being released right now. Yeah, no worries, Dobie. Yeah, go support Salty as well. I do not know how to say this name. Do you know?
Vardarina or Vardarina? Vardarina?
Vardarina? Okay, if we said it wrong, if you could type it out phonically, I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, and I think this is the first time you're here. First of all, welcome in. Thank you for being here. And I apologize if I butchered that, because it looks pretty. I just don't know how to say
it. See, she has a proper excuse. My excuse is I grew up redneck. My apologies.
Mrs. of the Empire is finishing the space trilogy and adores the Screwtape Letters. That is awesome. That is so cool. I want to meet your wife.
Screwtape Letters are so good.
Yeah,
so good.
I've heard. I have them. I just haven't read them yet. But I want to meet Mrs. Roman. She sounds like a really amazing person. Don't worry, I'll behave. You had better.
Bobin.
I'm hi.
Bobin's fine.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Welcome
I
in.
appreciate it. It's early. All right.
We have had our tea because a friend of mine made a bet with me that they did not think that I could go 2 weeks without coffee. I am on a week and a half. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations. How you feeling?
Tired.
I bet. It's one of Tolkien's trees. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna look up how to say it properly because I don't want to butcher that, especially if it's one of Tolkien's trees. Yeah, I definitely want to get that right. So thank you so much for telling me that. I've been wondering for a while, what did you major in college? So my associates, I was just liberal arts. Because obviously it's just a 2 years degree. My bachelor's was a dual major in history and English. And even though they don't put it on your degree, it was European history and creative writing. And then my master's was European history, and I did a comparative study between Derry, Northern Ireland during their civil rights movement, so 68-ish, and Boston during the busing crisis in 72. So that's European history has always been my forte. Was an evergreen fragment tree which the Eldar brought to Númenor with Elisea. Oh. Wait, is that the tree we read about today? I don't remember that.
I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah, that's the elven tree that we read about today.
Oh.
Okay, well now I feel like a dunce. Good choice of name. That is a good name. I like that name. Got to go. I may or may not be back. No worries, Cajun. We appreciate you stopping in to say hi. Go do your stuff. Bob is more than fine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 2 weeks with no coffee. I'm surprised you haven't burned the house down yet.
I've thought about it multiple times. I'm drinking black tea because it's black and it reminds me of coffee.
Can I just suggest you steep it overnight? It'll be real strong in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do. I steep my tea overnight and it's strong. Stand a horseshoe up on that.
What's up, Salty Texas? Oh, Salty, we have news.
Yes.
We have news.
Yes, we do.
Because I am Sherlock. I should actually, this is not the right hat. I went and investigated.
Since Salty's here, let's dive into this.
Right. So I did an investigation. I did a very lengthy, long, intensive investigation. Meaning I just clicked on IMDb and I kind of looked at what was popular. They have a video on there called Everything We Know About the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So I was like, oh, it's a 3-minute video. Let's check it out.
Do you want to share it so they can see it? Oh, and I'm gonna pop this. So we're not gonna play it because I don't want Amazon coming after taking the stream down. So I'm gonna pop this in. I'm gonna pop the link in chat, and you guys can go watch the video for yourself. But we're gonna discuss what is said in it.
Yes, Dawn. Mendo Holmes. I am Mendo Holmes. Yes. But yeah, everything we know about the Rings of Power. It's on IMDb, so it's official. It's official stuff because, as we discussed last week, Amazon owns IMDb, or they're very closely associated. I don't remember the exact word. But towards the end of this video, we find out who is rumor has it, who Meteor Man is. Meteor Man is, drum roll, I don't have drum roll, it's fine, Sauron.
Yeah. Meteor Man is Sauron. Okay, let's just establish something real quick. When Morgoth was defeated, let's go back. We were reading Silmarillion. When Morgoth was defeated, the Valar gave Sauron and the other Maiar who followed Morgoth the chance to go back to Valinor and basically explain themselves, ask for forgiveness, and accept what punishment comes. Okay? Sauron wimped out and said, no, I'm going to stay here and keep being evil.
Yeah. So, did you see that Salty asked if he could join us?
Are you cool with that? Okay,
I'm fine with that.
All
I
right.
think this is news
Hold
that
on,
must
Salty.
be discussed. So, guys, for our very first guest on Literary Soul Sisters, hi, Tugs.
Hi, darling.
Yeah, this I feel like with this kind of news, it's okay to have our very first guest on Literary
Yes.
Soul Sisters. Like this is news.
This is
like,
news. This is
it's crazy.
And there's other little hints throughout that are a little startling. There's sent Salty. But this okay, so back to my brief history lesson. Sauron stayed in Middle Earth when the Valar left, and a bunch of elves went with them and other people. He stayed there. And the Númenorians later on were like, hey, you're a bad guy. You should surrender yourself and come back to Númenor with us. And this is where like Sauron just started like nudging people like, hey, you should seek eternal life and all this crap. So when Númenor was destroyed, he was on Númenor, and the waves were so strong that they destroyed his body, but his spirit got back to Middle Earth. Hi, Salty. So where in the hell is this meteor thing coming from? I mean, why am I shocked? But like, this is like, what? Excuse me.
No worry, Rosie. You're not too late. We're just getting into some big news right now that I was, doing my Mando Holmes thing, and I investigated and I looked at IMDb and I just saw this and I clicked on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what this is? I
I
can guarantee you Payne and McKay don't. This kind of tells you everything you need to know about Tolkien's world. Hi, thank you for the invite. I'm just here.
Welcome.
I'm just here to ride your coattails.
Okay. Wait, is Purple here? I missed a lot of people all of a sudden coming in.
I was just chatting with her because she dropped a video. I just dropped a video. It's been a really busy morning, so we're playing tag and we're going to record later. And I was like, I'm going on the Trouble Green show. So
okay.
Yes, Tugs, that's who we suspected was the wizard. Yeah. But IMDb said they heard rumors it was actually Sauron.
Of course
they didn't say who the rumors were. They didn't say where it came from. But because IMDb is associated with Amazon, I assume it comes from Amazon's mouth.
It's owned. IMDb, I think, is owned by Amazon now, which is why I've quoted it in the past regarding the casting and some of the attributions for the writers and the roles that are listed. Now, anybody can go and make up whatever the hell they want on IMDb, arguably. But with something as important as the Rings of Power, you can bet they got somebody watching that site to make sure that stuff is accurate, guys. Come on.
Absolutely. So apparently, and it's just like rumored. I'm like, by who?
Do you want me to play that last little bit?
That bit, I think it's way towards the end.
Oh, look, Princess Diza.
Oh no, there, go back. You messed it. There you go. Yeah.
No pressure, man.
You share sound.
Is the character shown engulfed in the flames?
Did I not share sound?
You're good.
You're
I'll
good.
Go back a little bit more. Sorry.
You're good. You're good as long as any music is under 8 seconds for a clip. They shouldn't be able to knock you.
And it seems he's right to worry, as the character shown engulfed in the flames is rumored to be Myron, who in the books becomes Sauron, the second Dark.
Why not?
I mean, they've screwed up everything else. Why not? Yeah.
So let me see if I get this. So Myron, who becomes Sauron, is actually an alien. Is that where we're going with this?
Yes, we have aliens confirmed.
That is accurate, because at this point, after the fall of Númenor, Sauron, I mean, if Meteor Man is after the fall of Númenor, he shouldn't have a body. He's just a spirit. That's why he has to make the one ring.
Also, like we've talked about, Galadriel is thousands of years old by the second age and married and has children.
Yep.
Whatever. What's supposed to Princess Diza, I just want to know if she sings gospel in while they're mining, because that's apparently the angle they're taking, where the dwarves sing, and that's how they sing, and then they hear the resonance of the ore and whatever. Dude.
Yeah. yeah. That's how I feel. So apparently This is Sauron.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't even know. And then at the beginning of the video, and we talked about this behind stage, is that Salty, you'll have to go and watch it, but the language that they use is like, of course Galadriel's always been a leader of northern armies. That's in the book.
Yeah,
it's very, it's like, we see Galadriel in Jackson's trilogy long before she was leader of northern armies. Like, excuse me?
This is to rewrite. When they remake the Lord of the Rings, it's really obvious, and it's lazy, and it's just sad that the same type of level of storytelling and character development and mutilation of really beautiful characters that occurred, and you know where I'm going with this, Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, they did the same damn thing with Tolkien. The same damn thing. And it's like, who is this made for? Who is going to watch this? You know, I mean, so again, I don't want to take over your show and I'll get the hell out of here, but this just blew my mind. But the show for Wheel of Time said, we didn't make this fantasy property that's been beloved for decades with 15 books for the people who actually read the books. And we didn't make this show for people who like to watch fantasy shows all the time. We made Wheel of Time for people who sometimes maybe watched fantasy and maybe tried to read the books and stopped.
Yeah.
So is it reasonable to think that that same philosophy is going to be applied to Tolkien? Now, I have been seeing, again, and I talk about it in my comments section with the content that I make, and I've made it with you as well, Alasia. People are pissed off around the world, and Amazon did underestimate the amount of backlash from this. I think at this point, nothing's going to surprise me. The only thing that would surprise me, and I take no joy in saying this, is that this in any way is enjoyable to anyone. You know?
Yeah, like I'm just curious, like, when are they gonna bring Sauron in like that? Because that looks like, if we see that shot with Gil-galad, and like when we get later on, like when we get into the story in the Unfinished Tales about the mariner and his wife, like,
so yeah,
Gil-galad, like,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Gil-galad kind of knew that there were some bad things afoot, but it was slow.
Yeah.
It wasn't a meteor freaking crashing from the sky.
Yeah. It was just like
Aliens.
a darkness is arising
Aliens.
in the north. That's it. And the thing is, what is so sad is that they think every audience needs a big crash, boom, bang, look at a meteor, look at the fire, look at all this stuff. And that, like,
we're all 5 years old.
We're all 5 years old. And then
But
actually the slow sleep is creepier.
It's gonna overpromise and underdeliver. They're gonna give you these cutscenes of CGI, and it's gonna be the same type of storytelling that we're seeing in current year. And again, I don't like being negative. I don't enjoy this. That's why I just made a video about Bigfoot. Okay. True story. But it's going to be this big build up, and then it's going to be all this drama, and it's going to have that quick mystery box resolution. Because where did these guys come from? The J.J. Abrams school of bad storytelling, lens flare, and intersectional stuff. I mean, it's
absolutely,
you know, and if that's not the case, I will absolutely eat my crow, and I will buy every piece of merchandise that Amazon releases for this show. Because, like, I think, Alasia, you brought this up when we were working together a couple weeks ago. Where the hell's all the Lord of the Rings of Power merchandise?
Right? Where are the t-shirts? We should at least have t-shirts by now.
Okay, t-shirts and coffee cups, action figures. I mean, even if this show sucks, let's be honest about it, I would probably still check out the action figures because I want to see if they're any good. I
would get Gil-galad. I'm not gonna lie. If Gil-galad, if they're done well and they're like of the quality that I expect, I would get Gil-galad. No hesitation.
Oh yeah, I would get a Galadriel in armor just to make fun of her. I'd put her right behind me.
Yeah,
and then I would go ahead and get the Galadriel from the Lord of the Rings movie. You know, if you guys like, I'm always looking for Lord of the Rings, the 12-inch action figures they had from the movies, and those things keep going up and up and up and up and up. And if you like anything from the Lord of the Rings, I can tell you, whether it's graphic novels or anything else, get them now. The normies are going to grab every damn thing off of eBay, and they'll probably never read it. But it's the same thing that happened with Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time graphic novels, the first one you could maybe get for under $100, but the second, third, and fourth one, they're $500. $10,
Good
guys.
Lord.
So get that Hobbit animated graphic novel by Chuck Dixon. Get those things down. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
Which
And there are
means
several.
you guys notice that donation tip link at the top of the chat, you know?
Which,
That's-
speaking of
that's-
which, I have a couple. So Salty Texas, thank you for $3 for the sun. For the sundress fund.
sundress.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I read that initially in my mind as the something else. LDU amazing content creators. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then my mom gave me $10 and 2 hearts.
Yay, Mom.
Tell your mom to give me $10. I'll
No.
more than one. Come on.
I don't know why. Yeah, okay. Because again, she's going to be like, okay, this is for the gas that I pay for. Which that sounded really, really snotty. Me and my mom share my car because her car is too old to drive anymore. So we basically my car is our car. So we help each other out.
Can you go back to that crash scene again? Because I want to see who's helping Proto-Sauron the alien.
That looks like the Harfoot.
Yeah, that's why
I was thinking
asked.
the same thing.
Can you make it big screen? Not to tell you how to do your show, but I just want to see it.
Because doesn't that little girl have weird
Looks like a
things in
hobbit
her
to me.
hair? It looks like a
Yep,
hobbit.
looks like a hobbit to me.
Yeah. Let's see. Because she's also towards
you can
the end.
see
That's
Sauron.
her there.
You can see Sauron's alien junk. Wow. Okay. Why not?
So here is the Harfoot. See, she's
Mhm.
got some braids. She's got some weird antler looking things.
She's at Burning Man. We get it. Okay, you know.
Yeah,
It's
that
crazy.
looks like her.
Yeah, just looking at the aspect ratio, it does look like a hobbit. So why not?
It does.
Actually,
The
I
Harfoot
was
has
wrong.
sticks in her hair.
Yeah, it's I mean it's so Sauron's wearing his tighty whities, and because despite being an alien who crashed on the Middle Earth, his tighty whities are inflammable. So
yes,
this is good to know. It's good to know.
And he doesn't. I'm sorry, he does not look very alluringly handsome because Anatar is supposed to be beautiful and seductive. Well, that's the wrong word to use, but that's the word I'm going to use. So this does not.
That doesn't look like a handsome elven man. Like that looks like an old wizard.
Are you a biologist? Are you a biologist, man?
I thought about becoming a paleontologist.
Well, apparently you need to be a ufologist to understand Tolkien.
Apparently, yeah.
Was there anything else in this? Was there anything else in this voiceover that seemed different or that struck you in any way? Because this is
Diza. You brought up Diza, Mando.
Yeah.
So this lady that we've been making fun of her lopsided.
I'm very familiar with the dwarf with the brain tumor. Yes, let's take a look at what.
So when I looked at IMDb's list of characters that's going to be there, I saw Durin the Fourth as Prince Durin the Fourth. So my assumption being Durin the Third is still alive because Durin the Third, Durin the Fourth, but this chick in this voiceover said that she is at Khazak Doom, which means she would be the person in charge of Khazak Doom. Where's Durin the Third? Where's Durin the Fourth? Where are the Durins?
It's the same damn thing as Wheel of Time, guys, where even any woman who was mentioned in the story as being a sister or, like an advisor was suddenly in charge.
She had a sentence to her name. A sentence in the appendices said this person existed sometime around this time.
Right. And that's enough to take and run with, because as long as the story ends with Frodo, with Bilbo finding the ring and Gandalf showing up at the front door of the Shire in the Baggins house, they can do whatever the hell they want. And obviously they are, So what else did they say about Princess Diza? God,
they just said that she was gonna be at the halls of Khazak Doom.
Oh yeah, and she's gonna be singing a lot.
Yes.
Singing.
So and
Apparently
this actress is her political statements are fascinating. She's a stage actress from the UK. And I'm sure she's done some Shakespearean work. So I mean, it is what it is. It's just where's the beard? And I mean, I think at this point, even just talking about the beard, we're kind of losing the forest for the trees. Like I don't know what this is going to be, and
Yeah.
it's breaking a lot of people's hearts. A lot of
Yeah.
people's hearts. It
Well,
really is.
and like, I mean, so she was quite brief. They glazed over her. They glazed over Arandiel. Bronwyn and Theo weren't even mentioned. Hellbrand and somebody else were mentioned. But they were like, well, Elrond, who's played by Hugo Weaving in Jackson's films, is played by this person, and I don't remember who it is, and I don't care.
They made
Styles.
the comparisons between you knew Galadriel as this actress, she's being played by this actress. They tried to bridge that, like,
yes. Oh, no. Okay, so no, they full on say at the beginning of the Salty, they full on say that this is they are saying this is a prequel to Jackson's films.
They are.
Of course they are. And they're going to remake Jackson's film, or they're going to, buy physical media. What did I say again? Buy physical media. Please.
Yeah.
They're coming for everything.
The fact that shouldn't be in actual canon, there is ambiguity over whether Sauron captured all 7 rings from Kelleborne, or the elves were able to give one Dwarven ring to Durin the Third. Okay, cool.
I know whenever you look at the one wiki to rule them all, and I looked up Durin the Fourth's bio, it said for sure he had a ring of power.
Okay.
So I don't know if Durin the Third had a ring and gave it to Durin the Fourth, or if Durin the Fourth got a ring. But he did oppose Sauron. Like, he was in the war for the Last Alliance and helped fight off the Easterlings. So I don't know what happened. I didn't read up a lot on Durin the Third. What I could find, I didn't find a whole lot of on Durin the Third. So maybe the Durin the Third is at this council with Gil-galad. and they're like, he gets, and
that's why Elrond is at Khazad-dûm.
Probably.
you
We're
guys
making up better theories than what's gonna be in the show, guys.
Well, of course we are. I mean, and the other thing too is I just saw within the last 24 hours there's some very interesting language coming out, and we know their marketing playbook. It's going to roll out, and they're all like much like we saw with the influencer sites and the Tolkien and all the Tolkien people that got free stuff. They all said the same bullet points. Well, we're starting. There's a new round of articles that have come out, and it's talking about how this is drawing from the Silmarillion. Now, again, does Amazon have rights to the Silmarillion?
No,
as far as I'm aware of.
The appendices. So, I mean, again, and it's crazy because there's it's a trash tier site, let's be honest, but it's Looper. And I actually quoted them because a couple of months ago, they brought up a lot of the same concerns that we did. Well, they just released a new article called "Fans Are Worried That the Rings of Power Will Be Judged for Being Too Accurate."
Oh my God.
I'm going to read that again. Fans are worried that the Rings of Power will be judged for being too accurate. Do you want to take this link? Because this is absolute Orwellian insanity. Let me get it.
Yeah.
So this is it. Now
very much like 1984.
They're going to construct their own reality here. And I guess that's the last bastion, is essentially we're going to hammer you with absolute and utter dystopian double speak. And again, no matter how many times I read this headline, and that is the headline from Looper, how is this going to be too accurate? And I haven't.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's insane. And see, I don't know anything about Reddit. I don't ever get on. The one time I got on there was when my dog ran away, and I had to post something about him, but I don't know anything about Reddit. But the fact that so much is coming out of there is just gross.
Well, the thing about Reddit, and I ran with a video on it because I don't spend a lot of time there, but I watched it happen with a lot of fan sites, is if you say anything negative at all or question the production by Amazon or any of these streaming services, these Reddit groups jack you out. Like, you are gone. And you can't comment, you can't come in and view things. You have to go and form your own groups. And then once you find, your sort of your truth-telling group, or what I would say people who are objective fans, then they infiltrate that and boot people out. Now, we saw it with Wheel of Time, and we've been seeing it with Lord of the Rings. So look at this quote again. Quoting Reddit is like barking, at a door. I mean, it's like, I guess you can do it, but quite a few people seem taken aback by the cult of Morgoth, for instance, or Galadriel's Amazonian disposition, both online and friends in real life who have only read the trilogy. Listen to the reality that they're fabricating here. So if you've only read the Fellowship of the Rings, the Two Towers, and the Return of the King, apparently that is making people unhappy with the portrayal. And it's like they're fabricating this narrative that's somewhere within all of the histories and the lost tales and the appendices, that if you'd only just read all of those, what Amazon is doing makes sense. That's the argument they're crafting.
Good Lord.
So that's what they're going to do now, is just reinvent history. And Jesus, they need more ads on this thing, don't they? Well, that's it. That's it. Gee, look at this. It's garbage tier site.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just,
for any of you
really
who
weird.
like when we talk about Orwellian, like when they're speaking in Orwellian, like double speak and stuff, I highly recommend. This is not really Tolkien related, but it's still a thing that needs to be talked about. Read 1984. Read
Absolutely.
Fahrenheit 451. Read Animal Farm. These books used to be required reading for a reason. Because
you had to read them. You had to read them. I went to high school in the 80s. You read some of them in middle school, and you read some of them in high school. And what they used to teach us was think for yourself, have critical thinking, be aware of what propaganda is. And what I'm seeing in education, and one of the reasons I left it a long time ago, was you're not taught how to think critically. You're taught to give the right answer. And when you do that, you create a civilization ripe for takeover and to be propagandized, which then leads you to become a slave, which is kind of what socialism is, but that's apparently not cool to say anymore. But yeah, look at again, the upcoming Amazon series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which takes its inspiration from Tolkien's fantasy narrative, the Silmarillion, which serves as both a Bible and historical text for Middle Earth. This is bullshit.
While there's ample material in the Silmarillion, yes, they are accurate. There is ample material in this book.
But
they don't have the rights to.
The chapter that we're going to go over this morning from the Unfinished Tales, this could have been 2 seasons easily. This one chapter from the Unfinished Tales could have been 2 seasons because of all that is implied in this. The Unfinished Tales would have given them a wealth of information.
What do I know?
Either one of these books.
I'm just a Caucasian, cis, heteronormative, moderate, whatever the intersectional label is they put on to demean.
I am the what the woke are against. We should make signs. I am what the woke are against at this moment.
Yeah. You guys, I don't want to bomb your show. You guys do such great work. I'm honored that I was your first guest. I just wanted to share some of this stuff with you, and I really wanted to see what your breaking news was. But I got a feeling I'm really baffled why they're not releasing merch.
Yeah, I find it very strange. Merch? I really find it odd that we don't have any merchandise, because we should at least have the generic, poorly made, that are going to fade in after 3 washes poster t-shirts. We should at least have those. Yeah, or posters. We should have just posters to buy. And we don't have anything. There's nothing.
I know. I can't wait to get an Arwen and Bronwyn I Heart representation t-shirt.
Oh God. Yeah. So I mean, that Looper fudgesicle. There's such
very
crap.
well said. Very well said. Fudgesicle indeed. Allegedly.
Yes, that's all I got.
It is a cluster fudge. That is absolutely for sure.
Yes.
Or one thing that we use on my channel on Twitch is crap muffins. It is full of crap muffins.
I think you're giving Payne and McKay too much credit, Mando. I don't mean to be critical, but I think they would screw that up too. You
See,
guys, I'm
Adobe-
gonna get out of here. You guys are
Okay.
so awesome. I mean,
Oh,
unless you
thank
want me to
you.
stay, I don't want to come in and do the patriarchy and mansplain and all the other
No, we're just gonna talk
things.
about people who need to have marriage counseling before they get married.
And our
You mean like-
theory about this particular king of Númenor is the reason for the downfall of Númenor later on.
Yes.
That's my running theory. Is this story? This guy is the reason that Númenor falls later on,
Yeah.
and
We'll get into why.
You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. You make great content. I love the detail you go into the lore. I like your hot takes. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to work with fellow up and coming YouTubers. So you guys, everybody in chat, thanks for letting me bomb your show. So
You're
I'm going to
most
take
welcome.
off and walk my dog. You guys
All
have
right.
a great day.
Have a lovely walk. Bye.
Bye.
Real quickly, from Silverlock, thank you so much for $10. Seeing if this stream labs work. Thank you. I so appreciate it. I really do. I like that theory, Mando. So, chat, thank you so much for being here. Oh, Bob, we're happy to hear that. We're taking it a chapter at a time, and we're loving it. But you guys are on fire, and I just adore what you guys are saying. You're right, Rosie. They did. Even the Mandalorian had some merch before time, not Baby Yoda, but still posters. Yes, they absolutely did. They had some Mando merch. And I think this is right too. I think they don't want to lose any money from people not purchasing because they've seen 3 million downvotes on a trailer. And because they're trying to, yes, and I am sticking to this theory. They want the news cycle to go by as quickly as possible. They don't want to give us fuel for fodder. So they put out anything, they know we're going to talk about it. So I absolutely agree, Dovey. They want that news cycle to be very quick, fly under the radar, and have not people notice. You release merch, then people will talk about the show more. Yep. Realize it's not talking. Yep. That is absolutely accurate. So anyways, okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Salty, for coming on. That was incredible. Looper is just, I don't want to get too much into like the doom and gloom because we do want this stream to be, talking about things we love, which includes these books. So we'll probably get into that on another stream. But yeah, thank you, Salty, for showing us that article. And again, I'm going to drop that link to IMDb one more time so you guys can go watch the video in its entirety to your heart's content. You guys can analyze it.
Make your own videos on it. Salty, I'm talking to you.
Yes. So anyways, all right. Well. We're
gonna get into the story of this poor sailor.
This couple who should have never gotten married. This first chapter, do we just want to this first one on the second age of the Unfinished Tales, the description of the island of Númenor was literally just that. It's a 5-pointed island. We have woodlands, we have hills, we have we have grasslands. I don't know. There wasn't anything terribly earth-shattering in this tiny little chapter. Was there anything you wanted to go over? I was just like, oh, it's an island.
I mean, I've got
oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
If I've got any wrenches here, can you please drop links to Mando's channel as well? For new people, next week, we do this every Saturday. Next week, we will be on Mando's channel. And so if you can drop links to her YouTube and her Twitch, that would be deeply appreciated, Wrenches. Thank you. Anyways, yes. You were saying.
I've got like kind of an image of Númenor up if we wanted to share it. I mean, it's not like super detailed, but it's there. Let me do this. There we go. Yeah, so this is for context. This whole area, I'm gonna go back. So the first age, this is what everything looked like. You see, everything's cool. We're in the second age. You see, that's gone. Númenor is there now.
Yeah.
So it's like in between here and Valinor. And so if you scoot down, this is the island. It doesn't look that big, but apparently it's bigger than it looks.
Yeah, it's pretty good sized. Like it would take several days to get around it. So yeah, that's just this first bit. It's just a description and who settled where, and I don't know.
Right.
That's kind of what this first little section was. That's all there really was to it. It was interesting, and it was kind of established, like, because I had kind of been clear about how Númenor was set up, but this helped. So yeah. So unless you've got anything, we'll go on to
No, that's it. I'll stop sharing. But yeah, for reference, guys, Second Age. I can't make this thing go away.
Sorry.
I don't know why. Sorry. This used to be a landmass, but this is where Melkor was at the top here, and he a lot of his forces were going down in this area and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
and this is where Gondor will be. It's not there yet. I don't know why they're showing it there yet. This is where Mordor is. You see how tiny it is? So just for put it into perspective, this is where most of Sauron's forces is in the Third Age. Melkor's forces took up most of this.
Yeah.
Sauron was itty bitty, teeny weedy.
Still caused a lot of problems, but he wasn't anywhere near as
right
influential. So, anyways, okay. Let this story be a lesson. Please get marriage counseling before you get married.
And dudes. If you have passions that take up your entire life,
maybe just
let them take up your entire life. Don't get married. Just go do your passion. Just do that. You do not have to get married.
Yeah.
You don't have to unless the girl is actually A-okay with you doing those passions.
Wants to support. If she's like, no, I hate your passions and I will literally expect you to give them up when we get married, that's probably a red flag for the both of you that you guys are not going to work out. I understand if you care about each other, but probably it's a good bet that you will not get along.
Right. And putting it into modern day terms, I see so many of these stupid TikTok and videos about a guy turning on his video game and the chick just breaking the TV or breaking the game.
Yeah.
You're always on it. That was probably a red flag when y'all were dating.
Yeah.
No, get into marry somebody or be with somebody who has they don't have to have the exact same interests as you, but they need to support your interests and you need to support their interests. Marriage counseling before you get married. You probably shouldn't get married then. There is a thing called pre-marital counseling.
Yeah, pre-marital counseling, which my sister and my brother-in-law did it, and it was, I think, very eye-opening for the both of them, and it was fabulous. And I would do that if I were to get married. I did that.
Me and my husband did that when we got married, and there were still red flags, but we were like, we could figure this out.
Yeah, exactly. We could work through this. 500,000 square miles. Okay, well, that's good to know. All right, that's pretty substantial. So are women evil and wait? So are evil? So women are evil.
So women are evil and stay single. Not all of us.
Not all of us. But if she's asking you to give up your entire being in order to make her happy, that's not healthy. That is absolutely
all of the red flags.
All the red flags. So anyways, all right, let's get into this. So we're at hold on. Let me get up the line of Elros. What was he, the 9th king?
I thought he was the dude that we're talking about, I think, was the 5th king.
Okay.
Because his father is the 4th king of Númenor.
No, he's the 6th. So it's page 222.
Sorry, guys.
Tar.
Yeah.
So this is okay. I listened to the audiobook and I'm ashamed of myself. I literally can't remember how to say this guy's name. Can you remember how to say his name?
Tar Elendil or Tar Amadil? Amandil.
No, not the dad, the son.
Oh, Tarminilder.
No. Number 6.
6. Tar Alderon. That's how I always had it in my head. Tar Alderon.
There you go. It's close enough. So he is the son. So he is the king that we're talking about, and he, that's funny.
Well, if you look at the first paragraph, though, in this chapter, it says that he was the 4th.
Yeah, but that's his dad. So Tar Elendil was the 4th king of Númenor.
That'll make him the 5th king, then.
Yeah. So Melandur, Tar Melandur is the 5th king. They're talking. So Tar Elendil is the 4th king.
Right.
Yeah. So the story that this guy's about, he's the 6th king. Marandur is his dad. This whole story, yeah. So which one's not clear?
Because it says Marindol was the son of Tar. Ah!
Yeah, they're starting with his dad. Anyway, get there. We get there eventually. It's okay.
Sorry, guys. Sometimes I can read a sentence 5 times, and it just.
I do the same thing. You're fine. So this. Hold on. Ark put it in here how to say stuff phonetically. Do you feel Tolkien knew about the relationship stuff when he wrote these stories? It seems like he. Which relationship? Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say, and I very much feel this because I'm like this. I write when I'm upset or I'm really happy. Those emotions flow into my storytelling, and sometimes I write when I'm frustrated, just as a way of like venting. I think that this grew out of perhaps him and his wife coming to blows over Tolkien's writing, because after Priscilla was born, I don't think that they ever slept in the same room again. They had separate rooms. They loved each other. Don't get me wrong. They loved each other, but I think that she was like, you're missing out on a lot of your kids' lives. You're not being present. Like you there's more to life than you writing your mythos. Like you need to be here with me and the kids. And I think that he was very much like, this is my life. And you kind of need to accept that. So I think that this was very, because if there are some phrases in here. Key phrases, yes, about him talking about like through this son, and Ark said how to say it phonetically. Aldirion.
Aldirion.
Aldirion. I'm just gonna say Aldirion because he doesn't become king until like the last few pages of the story.
Right.
Telling his father, Marandor, or however you say his name, that a woman should not dictate a man's passions, that am I to give up everything just to make her happy? Like there's very much like a sense that Tolkien was writing about like a woman shouldn't dictate what a man should be doing with his time. So yes, I very much feel like this story might have grew out of some frustrations with his wife, and which is natural. You get. I've never been married, but I know you can get salty with your spouse from time to time. And stuff happens. Yeah,
from time to time.
Yes. So this to me seemed like a very eloquent venting session.
Very much so, and I'm gonna have to say though, and I said this before, this guy should have never been king. No, never, ever, ever. He should have been like, dude, Dad, pick somebody else to be king. I have this mission that I need to be going on.
Yeah. So on that note, let's dive in. So he is the only son, Arendiron. I'm gonna butcher that the whole time, and I apologize. He's the prince of Númenor, and it's very much, I feel like this is in Moby Dick about this thing about all young men fall in love with the sea. Like it's just this thing with young men that they have this thing about the sea, which I don't understand. But he very much has this great deep love of the sea. And initially when he's young, his dad is like, that's fine. Most of us do go sea voyaging at one point. We get it out of our system and then we're done. And then we move on with our lives and we rule Númenor. That didn't happen in this case. He had like an obsession with the sea and going to Middle Earth.
He was gone for like, if you calculate all of the times he was gone, at least 100 years on sea.
Yeah, he was. 100 years, and more than half of that he was in Middle Earth. So he sailed everywhere. Like he says that he sailed to parts of Middle Earth that no one had ever seen. But he was in Middle Earth a lot, and we find out later there's a reason for that. 150 years after? Okay, so anyways, so I don't know, Mando, you're a little bit better at summarizing than I am, but he and his dad, man, they got some we're back to the pride issue.
So in a nutshell, so the king has his son, and the son is who the main story is about, and the son and him have issues with each other because the son's like, I have to go sailing. I have to go. Like, there's something in me that will not go away. I have to go. And his father's like, kind of gradually, every single time he leaves, he gets less and less blessing, less and less so there's acceptance about it.
There's a tradition that every time a king or heir or whatever of Númenor would leave, the women of the court would bring a bough from a very specific evergreen tree that the Eldar gave the Númenorians, and it was called the Bough of Returning, and it would be on the prow of the ship, and it would not wilt because this evergreen tree thrived in the sea air. So the women were supposed to do that, but after a certain point, this guy's dad was like, he banned the women from doing it because he's like, I have told my son he needs to stay put, and he keeps going back to Middle Earth, and he'll be gone for years.
10 years at a time.
Yeah, easily 10 years every single time. So it gradually became like, this is it's like the Amish, like they go have their wild season and then they come home. It's like just more and more this kid he refused to stay at home. He just kept going back to Middle Earth.
They're posting my links and stuff in the chat.
Sorry.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate you.
I don't think those bots work the same way on YouTube that they do on Twitch.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Okay, yeah, no worries, Road. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. So he keeps going back to Middle Earth, is gone for years. And whilst he's gone, his mother,
dad comes up with a good idea. By good idea, we mean horrible, horrific, bad idea.
Yeah. Which is,
my son should get married. That will make him stay home.
Yeah.
We need to find him a wife.
That'll fix everything. And his mom has a girl in her service from one of the distant families. Now, it's very important to understand that this girl, what's her name?
So there are three
Erendis.
houses of men.
Erendis.
There's one that comes from the line of Elros, which is the ones that live for a long time. Mm-hmm. There's the line of Beor, and then there's a kind of Turon's house.
I will send you a piece of a tree, Roman. Don't you worry.
So there are three different houses of men that the original ones that you read about in the Silmarillion and the first part of the Unfinished Tales and stuff. Those three houses of the good houses of men that come to Númenor because they help the elves and blah blah. So the House of Elros is the only one that has half-elven blood in it, though. Mm-hmm. They're the only house that can live past 100 and something years old. But all of the men on the island, all humankind, all of the humans, men, I'm going to say men, screw you woke feminists, I'm going to say men. All of the men on the island live for a very long time, but the line of Elros is half-elven, so they live. So
they live longer. Much longer. So so this girl comes from one of these. I think she was the line of Beor. Yeah, she was the line of Beor. So her people's lives would have been around 200 years, whereas the line of Elros, the average was 400. So obviously they lived for a very long time. So she was of this shorter lifespan clan of men, and she was staying in the queen's court. and she saw the prince. And she like immediately fell in love with him. And she's like, so the very last time that he got a blessing when he was leaving, she took it. And he was like, whoa, who's she? But
She purdy.
But nothing about her was enough to entice him to stay. So he's gone again, and he comes back. And this girl is like, if I present myself to him, he's going to fall in love with me. Like, she was very much the one who wanted to initiate things. And dear God, how long did their courtship last? A good 80 years?
At least. Like, I feel like if you include his other voyage, so they were like engaged for like 6 years, I think, which the normal around that time was like a year.
Yeah.
Less than.
They did this song and dance for
a long time.
Real quickly, Dobie, thank you so much. Yes, go make it up to your mom. You only get one mom. Go treat her. We totally 1000% understand. I've been there. So
also, for everyone, don't forget Father's Day's coming up next month.
That's true. So go have a good time with your mom, and thank you so much for being here. We deeply appreciate it.
Yes.
So she so they, I don't know, like it's funny, like this guy would get the sea out of his system, and then he'd be on land for so long, and then he'd have to go back, and then he'd be on land for so long, and then he'd have to go back. It was awful. And the thing is his dad would be like, hey, you're cutting down a lot of trees. This is a problem. And so what he would do was he'd plant a ton of trees and then chop them down. And then he'd plant more trees. And then he'd chop them all down. And he was, oh God, just constant. It was constant. The shipyards like were never silent at this point in time. And this girl, Arendis, she is a very all or nothing woman. She's like, either you love all of me and you give up everything, or there's nothing. I don't want any part of you. And she grew to like really deeply hate the sea, and everything is like to an unhealthy obsession level. Like she kind of like lost her mind.
She did. She lost her ever loving mind.
She did. So they are eventually married after he was gone right before, like they were betrothed, and then he left again, and he was gone for what, 3 years?
I want to say at least 6. I think the least amount of time he was ever gone on sea was like around 5 to 6 years, I feel like. Okay.
So he was gone for a really long time, and her parents were like, it's high time you are married. Your childbearing years are quickly slipping away. Now again, she's probably like 89 at this point or something like that. She's still young and fair. And she's like, no, I'm rejecting everything. And her mother even says, like, you willful child, you can't do this to men. Like, you can't behave like this. You have to allow them the space to be themselves. And she was like, no, I will not do this. She's like, you have been like this since you came out of the womb. Tell her mom is like frustrated with her.
That's always a red flag if their mom is frustrated with
their own child. Well, yeah, exactly. Yep, he did, because he was younger than her, like I think by 2 years or something. So he had to wait until they were both of age. Yeah, he was a stubborn mule dating or courting his wife, because her family was like, no, you're not good enough for her. So yeah, talk about knowing how long it takes to court someone. So they finally get married, and the elves come to celebrate, which I thought that was interesting, because I don't remember him saying that like the elves themselves would come and celebrate a wedding, which like put in light of the letter we get later on, that makes me even more sense that like all of a sudden all these elves show up, and
people are surprised. They're like, oh, the elves don't really
do this.
Like what? Why are they coming? Which would, in the reader's mind, I feel like I'm like, okay, so he's making a lot of good friends in Middle Earth, I assume. Like he's doing some good stuff. Like,
yeah,
Like, why is no one asking the actual questions?
Yeah, like, why are all these elves here? Like, this is not normal. And the fact that they brought so many gifts, like really
Like
important
nice
gifts.
gifts.
Really important, nice gifts. One was
Which
a tree.
are one of the important gifts. One is the tree, and two are the lovebirds.
Yes. And the lovebirds mate for life, and they will never be parted from each other, and they will only sing together. Yeah. So, anyways, they get together, they have a daughter. And that becomes important later on when we get to the end of the chapter. And for a while they're content.
They're happy.
Ish.
I mean, as happy as you can be when, like you're hundreds of miles away from the sea and your wife's controlling you.
Just a tiny bit. Yeah, she was a control freak. Let's just say it. Hey, Zax, thank you for being here so much. And the thing is, like, he's also bringing. So when he goes, I mean, it's not like he's coming back in half floating ships and half of his men are dead. They all come back, and he's bringing back a lot of whoa. I am way glared out. Come on, lot of
the lights.
fudgesicle. There we go. Tribute, like expensive tribute, back to, like, he has a hoard of diamonds that he's just sitting on because he's like, I don't know what to do with it. There it is. Not everyone does that. So again, it tells, like, that says the level of importance he was like esteemed in Middle Earth by the elves. You know what? Now as I'm talking, it makes sense now why he was going to Middle Earth so much. It's the only piece that poor man had.
Well, also his dad's hounding him. He's like, dude, you're gonna be king. You gotta act like king. You gotta sound like a king. And his wife's like, no, you must live here.
Yeah.
Be here. Which was like not even where the king's supposed to live anyway.
Oh, thank you, Shield Wall. Like an elf all the time. Lost in the light. Yeah, no kidding. Wait, you guys don't have hoards of diamonds that you use for chairs? Unfortunately.
That would be uncomfortable.
Dude, that would hurt.
But yeah, more or less, so that we go through this time period where his dad's reconcile for like a day. His dad's like, hey, you're gonna be king, this is how king should act, blah blah. And then he's like, but Dad, there are kings in Middle Earth that need our help. You don't understand.
Yes.
And his dad's like, but you have duties here
which
to be
fair,
king.
Which is fair. But the fact of the matter is, and this is a failing on both their parts, this guy is so freaking stubborn. He will not like give his dad all the facts. He just like, he's a very prideful man. And he's very like, you know what? Him and Torin would have been besties because they never would have said a damn word to each other.
Yep. What is up with men and Tolkien's thing and not saying words?
You have words, use them. Even if they're brief words, use them. So his dad is like, in all fairness, like, you're a prince, you're my heir, you're the declared heir. You need to stay here and learn how to run the government, and you need to tend to the issues of Númenor. Like, you need to stop going back to Middle Earth. And also you need to let go of this obsession with the sea. And he's like, I can't, and there are reasons, but I'm not going to tell you.
And so that conversation went as bad as well as you would imagine it would go. Yep. Like, I can't tell you the reasons why. And his dad's like,
yeah, basically. Yeah, if you don't give me anything else, then I don't know what, I like don't know what to say other than I'm going to keep hounding you. And so this is when his daughter, his little daughter is Thor. And so Arendis can see like, oh, his obsession's coming back. I can see it happening. And she's didn't she give him an ultimatum, or am I making
She did.
that up?
2 years. 2
That's
years
right.
or else.
2 years or else. Did he have women in Middle Earth, and that's why he? I mean,
Tolkien never specifically says anything about any of this.
no, he didn't.
He makes it seem like the sea is his maiden.
Yes, very much so.
It's the sea. He's married to the sea.
He is. He really is. That is absolutely right. And because she says you can't be married to us both, because she also loved trees, and he's like, well, am I supposed to get married to what was the god of the? Was it god or goddess? So she's like, you're
or no, there's the god like Ose. I can never remember his name of the sea, and then the goddess of trees. Yes.
Yeah. So like they were accusing each other as like, well, I can't be married to the trees, but I can't be married to the sea or whatever. Like, so there was a lot of finger pointing again right before they got married, which should have been an indication that this was not going to work. But she does. She gives him an ultimatum of 2 years. You have 2 years to get your butt back here and stay here indefinitely. No more sea. Or else.
Guess how long he was gone for? Like, wasn't it 10 years?
It might have been. No, it wasn't, because when he came back, the daughter was 7.
Okay.
So 4, 5, 6, 7. So he was gone for 3. That was the shortest voyage, I think.
I think so.
So she was 7. So whilst, hold on, let me read this. The traits that make men great and desirable to women can also make them flawed and imperfect and lead to their doom. Yep. But again, I think what's important is that you find a woman who is able to love you despite your flaws, like love you with your flaws, with your imperfections, because everyone on this earth has imperfections. That's right. That shouldn't be, because he planted so many trees to then chop down and build for ships. That is literally what his name means. So the fact is that this Arendis, she was so black and white. She was so all or nothing. Like, you will love me and you will forget about the sea. And there's nothing in between those two things. So whilst he's gone, obviously, when you get married, you're supposed to leave. Find a woman like Zax. Don't you two start in my chat. Thank you for being here, Flaccid. They had built a house to obviously be a married couple in, because that's healthy. She had it completely closed up, and she fled to the hill country where the farming country where the sheep were, and built a house and took her daughter there. And oh boy, talk about being mentally unstable.
Her daughter and her never saw another man again
for 3 years. Her daughter saw a little boy once, and the cook chased him off. She literally didn't know what a man was. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in a house of only women for 3 years. God,
no, that's a convent. No, thank you.
But the thing is, even convents, you see other men. You see monks walking around. They literally had no contact with any men for 3 years.
And while they're living in this part of Númenor, her mom goes on the biggest anti-men rant, and basically she brainwashes her daughter. It's sad.
For 3 years, nothing but men are evil, men are blah, blah, blah. You should never get married. And her daughter almost never got married because of it. And she only married out of spite.
Yes. Well, I mean, in this tale she did, there was the note that Christopher was like, there's a different account that actually wasn't true, but I chose this one because it fit within the story. So there's a little contradiction about why she got married, but she did eventually get married and have some kids. But it wasn't out of any maidenly desire to have a husband. She's like, fine, I'll get married.
I'll have a son for you.
Yeah. Is this Tolkien or The View?
The View. I was thinking as I was reading, I was like, Amazon, if they had access to this, oh boy, could they do some whamming power with this story.
All men bad. This, I mean, I said at the beginning of the stream, this chapter alone would have given them 2 seasons worth of material. But again, it would have had to been like, early 2000s Jackson level respect, because it could go off the rails so quickly.
I think Whoopi would have played. Whoopi would have been in there because Zach's is bringing up, like which one is Whoopi.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll be Whoopi. You get a car, and you get a car.
What's sad is that, like, if their parents had just stepped in and like given them both a good shake, I think that probably that would have helped.
Yeah, because like, where are her parents? Her parents were just like, we don't think this is a good idea either. It's like, why didn't you go to your daughter and go, like, sometimes, do I condone violence? Yes, sometimes. Anyway, they should have like literally picked her up and smacked her around, but like, where is your mind gone? Like, you need to have your freaking brain examined, and every single syllable needs to be a smack.
I know. Yeah, because her father, I think, was super. I got the sense the brief scenes we saw of her parents, her father was like super put out with her attitude. It's like, why didn't she just come home? If she's so annoyed, why didn't she just come home and bring our granddaughter with her? And her mom's like, she's been like this since the moment she came out. I can't control that girl. And I'm like, well, if you put her
take the granddaughter away,
no kidding.
Where are the adults? Where are the adults?
Yeah. So anyways, okay, so she brainwashes her daughter for 3 freaking years, and when
her daughter also starts getting hints of, my mom's not really quite stable, is she?
Yeah, like, that slowly comes to her. She's like, something's wrong. Most people don't behave like this. So he finally comes back to Númenor after being gone for 3 years, and when he's arrived, for being the prince of Númenor and the heir of the king, nobody gives a damn. He sails in. They're like, literally no one is at the docks to meet him, and they don't even know who he is. Thank you. Well, the hair appointment went well. And he just like rides up to his house, and it's like completely barred and shut. And he's like, WTF? And then he goes up to the palace where his dad is, and he's like, what's going on?
And his dad's like, I don't know.
Good question. Where have you been? Why weren't you here dealing with this? So he's like, your wife is out in the grasslands with your daughter. We don't know what to tell you. Have fun. Like, there's just no fanfare. Everyone is so put out with him that they're just like, I don't know.
Well, like, he's gone all the time. And like, it's just one of those things, like, the people of Númenor are like, does he even care about us? Like, it gets to this point of, he's supposed to be our future king, but he's never here.
Yeah.
How much faith can you put into somebody who's about to be your leader if they're never there?
Exactly. And also,
I feel like that's very, oopsie. Very similar to someone's campaign trail. Sorry, not political. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Exactly. What was I gonna say? Oh, sorry. And then half the things that he starts on the island never get finished. Like, half of his, like, the ports he made get washed away by the sea. Like, he has all these half-finished projects all over the island, it seems like, and in Middle-earth, and he just doesn't seem to be able to finish them. So that's deeply frustrating. It's like, you're building all these trees, and it's funny, when he's gone, the shipbuilding gets put on hold, and all the trees that he put up to build ships get cut down to build houses, because the people are like, we need houses. Stone. We need houses, because they don't really use stone all that much. So
he knows nothing about how his own people work. Nope. Like,
he's always gone.
That's why his dad's so frustrated. He's like, you don't know how people work here. He's like, but I'm always with people on the sea. I know how to run a ship. And his dad's like, running a ship is not the same way as running a country.
Yes.
Or a kingdom. Like, Get it together. In
And
my opinion,
uh-huh.
he should have never been king.
I don't think he shouldn't have. I think his cousin would have been a better. That side of the family sounds slightly more stable. And also, like, I wonder if this, this is a little bit like spare the rod, spoil the child, because like even though he and his dad's like really did come to blows, and there was kind of, for what I can tell, no love lost between them. If his dad had really put his foot down when he was younger, like I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided.
I think so as well. It became an addiction.
It did. It was a huge, but we're gonna get to the reason why I think this was an addiction. This last time when he comes home, and his daughter is now 7, his mother hates all women, and she's cloistered off in an all-female convent, and his dad doesn't give a crap about him anymore, and his mother's nowhere to be found. He brings a letter back
From Gil-galad.
From the High King of Lindon. And come to find out,
He's been going to war for Gil-galad for all of these years.
He is Gil-galad's vessel. And that Gil-galad has nothing but praise for this young man. And he's like, every time you send your son to us, I get happy because he does so much for us. And I'm like, my first thought when we read this letter was, he is going to Gil-galad because he got some daddy issues, and Gil-galad's being the father he needs. Gil-galad is showing up for him, his dad is not. And he's getting validation from the elves where he's not getting any from his people. Because he's been
on that same token, he's not communicating with anyone.
He has exact same communication issues that Tauren did. But he has been in Middle-earth. And the thing is, Gil-galad didn't tell him. He's like, a shadow is rising. He didn't tell him which shadow. And so because he's like, you're not king yet, so I can't really, this is top secret stuff. I'm not going to trust you with it. But he tells Tar-Minnelar, whatever the hell his name is, Minalor, whatever, Menlador, whatever.
The M word.
The M word, the M king, the 5th king of Númenor, that Sauron is rising. And he's like, I haven't told your son what the shadow is we're fighting, but he knows something bad is coming. And I'm calling on Númenor's help to quench this while we can. Like, he's like, officially, I need you to send your son back with the Force, because this is how serious this is getting. So this letter really reveals that he wasn't just going to Middle-earth to do whatever. He was there for a very specific reason in Lindon with Gil-galad, fighting the forces of what would be Mordor.
Yeah, he was fighting Sauron.
He was.
But nobody knew, because he never told anybody that he was doing anything constructive other than going to the sea.
Yes. And just effing around. Literally.
Because that's what the people thought he was doing, is that he was literally just floating around, exploring. Because that's all he told them. That's all he told anybody, is there's some stuff going on. It's kind of bad there. I feel like I need to go there. But also, I love the sea.
Yeah, that's literally his excuse every single time. I love the sea. He didn't say how bad things were. Lads, you have words. Use them.
Communication. Ah.
So it gets back to Middle-earth. He gives his father this letter, and it really does him a new one. He's like, WTF. This is bad. And he realizes, because he doesn't have all the facts, because he hasn't been going to Middle-earth, that he needs to abdicate and give the scepter to his son, because he's like, he has all the facts. He needs to be the one now to lead whatever is going to happen. He's got to be the one in charge. So he's like, it's time for me to step down. Which was surprising, because I don't think he was nearing that mark of his life force failing. He was still pretty spry. It seems like he wasn't weary of the world yet. I don't know. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, but also I still stand by my statement that I don't think his father should have handed him the kingship. I think he should have handed him a lordship or something to where he could still do what he needed to do, but that his charge was to help Gil-galad, but somebody needed to stay behind and rule Númenor. Like, that's the thing, like, because that's the reason why you have top generals. I think he should have been
We're happy for you, Kathy.
He should have been a top general instead of a king. Like, but have the authority of the king, because you can do that. Like, you can be a vassal of the king and be as the king while you're going out and fighting, but you don't have to be the king.
But this letter, I mean, if Gil-galad hadn't sent this letter, it's entirely possible he wouldn't have been king. But I think, like, this letter just put him in between a rock and a hard place. He's like, I don't know what to do, because my son hasn't told me any of this. So what do I do? Well, I hand the man with all the knowledge, the king, the scepter, because I literally don't know what to do. I had no idea it was this bad in Middle-earth. No one told me anything.
Also, like, the dude should have told his dad, hey, we need to prepare the people for war. There is something going on. People are fighting. And his dad, like, if he had told his dad that Gil-galad was probably going to need people of because you can tell when someone's gearing up for war.
Well, and Gil-galad probably thought, like, every time this kid goes
Númenor
home,
knew.
Yeah, he probably's like, every time this kid goes home, he's probably going to update his father on what's happening. I mean, and I don't know what changed this time to make him send a letter, but I mean, maybe whatever his name is, would drop some hints of like, yeah, no, my dad doesn't know what's going on. So
and Gil-galad's probably thinking,
yeah. Excuse me?
You haven't been telling anyone anything.
Jeez.
We're about to go face all of Sauron's forces, and we need the Númenorians to help us.
Yes.
And they don't know that we don't know anything.
Yeah, no communication. So he gets home, gives this letter, the letter to his dad, and then he rides off to find his wife. And that did not go well.
No, his wife was like, so where you been?
Yep.
And he's like, well, I had stuff I had to do. Once again, not communicating anything.
I mean, she was being super petty at this point, like beyond petty.
And yeah, I get that. Yeah, she was being petty. She was being rude. But at the very least, like, I would think, even though she's kind of beyond reason, any reasonable person would, like, if he had been like, yes, the elves in Middle-earth are going to war because Sauron, who is a servant of Melkor, which everyone knew who Melkor was, is rising up and they need our help.
Mm-hmm. Literally, that's all that would have need to be said.
I've been helping them this entire time. That's why I've been gone so much, is I've been helping them prepare for war. I've been helping them do, like,
that I'm literally
at least at that point in
vassal.
time, she wouldn't have had a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
If he had said that to her.
Yes. Because they're literally on Númenor because of the fact that Elros's line helped defeat Melkor. They all know why they're on the land of gift. They all understand this. And they all know that there is a deep shadow in the north. This is not like new knowledge.
Like, if he had just said those words, we are helping the elves because Melkor is rising again, or an aspect of Melkor is rising again. Mm-hmm. Even if she had still acted the same way, at least everyone else wouldn't have given him more grief, because even after this, his daughter and other people are like, man, you really handled things wrong.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I probably did handle things wrong.
He's like, you think? Yeah, so his daughter's like, who are you? I don't even know you. Which, the thing is, she was 4 when he left, so I feel like she would have had some memory of him. I mean, like, maybe a tiny bit, like, snatches of memory.
When you're hardcore brainwashed for 3 years, you forget a lot of things. You suppress a lot of memories.
She asked her mom about her mother, or her father, one time. And she asked, is dad ever coming back? And she's like, I doubt it. And she just went on this tirade, I hate men thing. So yeah. And when he meets his daughter, he literally she doesn't call him father. she calls him by his name, and he just calls her by her name, and he doesn't hug her or anything. He kisses her hand, and like he goes away with this intention of like, one day, like I have to get my daughter back. She's the heir. That's it. There will be no more children. We have to get her away from my wife because she's got to have some other schooling besides that. But that's literally his only like thought to his family. He's like, okay, now I have to go do sea things and do king things.
Which he should not have handed over the kingship to his daughter, in my opinion. Yeah. Because his daughter is a damaged human being with damaged emotions and damaged viewpoints of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what she's going to do with those damaged viewpoints of the world? She's going to bring them into her queenship.
And then onto her children. So
and their children.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, like, this guy was trying to do something right in Middle-earth, but due to the choices he made, especially when he came home, this is definitely, I feel like, I agree with you. This is where Númenor started to fall, which is sad. I think we're 800 years into the rule of Númenor. So we got 800 years, and then we start to see the slow decay. And I think this is where it starts. And I feel like that's why Tolkien, like, you know, if regardless if I, you know, think he wrote this out of, you know, maybe a spat he had with his wife about his writing or whatever it was, and maybe some of his own guilt for not being more present in his children's lives. I think that's why he wrote this, is because he wanted to start showing the slow decay, the slow decay of man. This is where this started cropping up. So wait, a female could take over. Okay, so we're gonna get to that. So the council, what are they called? The Council of Scepter? It's just the council.
I thought it was just called the council, but I could be completely wrong.
No, I think it is just called the council. There's a council of elders who help maintain the stewardship of Gondor, and they're basically like, you know, I don't know, the House of Lords, and they're like, do you really want to do this? Does this seem like a good thing to do? 25 rulers in, yeah, basically 6 rulers in. Council of the Scepter. Thank you.
Yes.
Council of the Scepter. There's only one that's like, yeah, give the scepter to him. He's ready. And all the other, like, I think there's 25 of them or something like that. All the others are like, is this a good idea?
And it's those councilmen who they should probably listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they end up giving him the scepter, and unfortunately, that's more or less where the story comes to a screeching halt, because Tolkien, being Tolkien, I think got distracted and didn't. Oh, well, okay, he orders Arendis, his wife, back to the capital of Númenor.
And she said no.
And she says no. How shocking. But he does send her daughter, and that's more or less where this story ends. And Christopher's like, my dad didn't finish it. I've got and there's like little tiny snatches, probably written down on some random piece of paper that he found, that he was able to piece together how it should have ended. We find that Arendis, first of all, this guy, he keeps going back to Middle-earth, even though he's king of Númenor.
Yeah.
Like, he will not stay put. Thank you so much for being here, Kristen Fandom Geek. We so appreciate it.
But like,
he's gone like half his kingship.
Yeah. Like, I think he ruled for like, what, 100-something years? And he was gone more than half of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he ruled for 192 years. And he was gone for a love. Sorry, I was reading Cappy's comment. I'm happy for you, Cappy. I'm happy you love chocolate. I can't eat chocolate anymore. He was gone for a good spell of that, and he and his wife never reconciled, like, ever. And what's sad,
she wouldn't even do her queenly duties.
No, like, literally, the kingdom like forgot they had a queen. He's like, well, we have a king and his daughter. We don't know how she got here, but he's got an heir in this girl. Like, literally, that's it. That's all the kingdom knew. she literally refused to leave her self-imposed convent out in the grasslands. But it's sad at the very, very end of her life, she has a come to Jesus moment of like, I've been too harsh on my husband. And all we know is that she went to the what's the word I'm looking for?
The ship?
The harbor. The harbor in Númenor to wait for his return, because of course he's in Middle Earth. And all we know is she died there. Like it says that she died by way of the water, which she hated. So I don't know, she died. So yeah. And then her daughter. Yeah. So we've got a good bit about her daughter. Do you want to go into that?
I mean, I guess more or less in a nutshell, the daughter wasn't a horrible queen.
She was decent.
But yes, like we said earlier, her viewpoints on men did not really change, which made that difficult to rule a kingdom full of men and women.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, okay, hold on. We've completely passed over. Okay, hold on. So when he got the scepter, he's like, well, I'm obviously not going to have any more children with Erin just because she freaking hates me. He changed. Well, okay, so Christopher points out that Tolkien was a pretty inconsistent about how this law came into being, whether it was a tradition or he established it here or it was a necessity later on. I don't really know. And Christopher's like, I don't really know which one's true, which one my dad intended to go with, because there's in the appendix that says one thing, here it says another, and I think in the Silmarillion it says another thing. But he basically changed in here, in the Unfinished Tales, he changed the law that if there was only a girl from the direct line of the king, she could take the scepter.
Or she could pass it on.
Or she could refuse it, and it could go to the next eligible male heir.
Yes.
The difference being that if the king had a son, he had no choice but to accept the scepter, but he could immediately give it to his heir. So, but the girls would have the option, do you even want the scepter at all? And they could say yes or no. She did accept the scepter. So the sixth king of Númenor is where we get this, how the line is determined and who can sit on the throne. Because he knew he'd done messed up because he didn't have any other children. So he changed the law so that she could take the scepter.
Yes. But yes, then
this is also true with that shouldn't be.
Yes. And so part of the division was if you went by, which Christopher kind of was like, my dad more or less said that it was tradition for the eldest male to get the scepter. That was tradition. It wasn't law, but it was tradition. And if you kept that tradition alive, his daughter would not have gotten the scepter. It would have gone to her cousin, which the cousin, in manner of speaking, was the rightful heir. And that's actually where we get the faithful from, is that line of Elros, is the ones who should have actually been, by right of tradition, king of Númenor. And that's where we get the division between the faithful and the unfaithful, because this king, he's like, I only have a daughter. I'm going to make it to where she can be queen, which was against tradition. So,
yes. That Linus dissection tracks with old Saxon traditions and laws. Look at the Queen of America in the Last Kingdom. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. So she actually does grow. Like, as she grows, this daughter, she realizes that her mother's view of the world is quite skewed and unhealthy, and she goes back to see her mother in her convent every so often, but she actually finds her quite irksome, and she's like, I only do this out of like daughterly devotion to my mother. But she still has a very like anti-men, and for like some of her life she runs away literally to be a shepherdess Not like Marie Antoinette level shepherdess, like an actual shepherdess. She like gives up every royal right and starts herding sheep. And this young boy comes out of nowhere, and he doesn't try and woo her exactly. They just become friends. And when she reveals to him, hey, I'm actually the princess of Númenor, and he's like, ha, joke's on you. I'm of the line of Elros, and I actually am of a high noble rank, and I can marry you. I'm of the right bloodline. Thank you so much for being here, KJ.
Because that was another law that they had made, is because he, like a dum-dum, thought that the reason why his wife hated him was because she was of the line of men that didn't live as long.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made it a law that you could only marry someone of the line of Elros.
Yeah. Can you, Amanda, elaborate on the division, like how it should have been? So do you mean the division between the faithful and the unfaithful?
Right.
Welcome back, Rosie. Okay, so do you want to take that? I think you'll do a better job of it. I think I'll mess that up.
So with the kingship of Númenor, so the 5 kings before this guy, it was tradition, but not law, that the eldest male heir take the throne. And if you did not have a male heir, it went to the next of kin. So like if 2 brothers, like one of them was king, but he had no heir, it would go to his brother's kin, like children.
Mm-hmm.
So in that tradition, the king that we're talking about, this, I'm just going to call him Seaboy. So Seaboy had no male heirs.
Mm-hmm.
By tradition, it would have gone to someone of his line, their kid.
It was a kid. It was Sacion or something. It was a young boy with the S name. So anyways, yes, sorry, continue.
S name. So instead of going by tradition, he said, I am going to change the laws,
Mm-hmm.
which, if you understand the way that the Valar kind of set up Númenor, and they kind of helped set up these traditions. They said, they were like, we're going to bless you guys, but here's some things that if you do these things, we will bless you.
Mm-hmm.
It was not explicitly said that the Valar only blessed people who went by this tradition, but if you look at the evidence, kind of makes it seem like the Valar only blessed people who went by the actual traditions of Númenor.
Yes.
But Seaboy decided to change the law because he's like, man, I messed up. I need to change the laws to fix my mess. Which is what you do when you're a king, I guess. Change the laws to fit your mess.
Yes.
And when you look at who remained faithful, like later, like, and we're going, like, this is me jumping ahead.
Like
when you get to the fall, thousands of years, when you get to the fall of Númenor, the line of Seaboy, the one where he changed the law and his daughter became queen and her heirs and so on and so forth, became known as the Black Númenorians, or the unfaithful, or the ones who were friends with Sauron. Versus where if you look at the line of kingship, the way if you go by old Númenorian tradition would have been this S person's name. His line of kin are the ones who remained faithful to the Valar.
Yes,
and that's where we get the line of this is Elendil's line.
And they are of the line of Elros. It's just one of the branches of the line of Elros.
Yes.
And a lot of this would have been through the sisters of the kings of Númenor. So this would have been a more matriarchal line. But it was their sons who should have been on the throne. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This is where we get the division of eventually getting to Al-Farazon and Elendil. So this is where this starts, this branching of the faithful and the unfaithful. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, where'd it go? Jumped on me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that...
I think so.
Maybe. If you give me a second, hold on. In that little snippet we get of the daughter, it says what Oh, Soronto.
Yes.
Soronto. Yeah, the son of his sister. Yes. Well, okay, so here it's okay, so it's the sister. His sister Alaniel, I think. Alaniel. Yeah, so Soronto should have been the heir if Aladarion had passed on the scepter, or his father refused to give him the scepter because he was never there and knew nothing about Númenor.
Yes.
So it should have been Soronto, but it wasn't. The faithful largely rose out of the lords of, who were descendants from the eldest child of, wait, so no royal, so.
He's making a joke.
Okay, yeah. I get it now. Sorry. There you go. So this is, you can definitely see the division starting between things. And also, here's what's interesting is that, okay, so Aladarion or whatever has spent his whole life, lo and behold, helping Gil-galad prepare for this war with Sauron. His daughter was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. You're on your own,
His
Gil-galad.
daughter literally was like, I understand that Gil-galad is asking for aid. I'm not going to give him any.
Yeah, she basically cuts off ties with Gil-galad at this point.
All of the work her father did was for nothing because he was a bad parent.
Yes. He was a very absentee parent. So yeah.
This is why being a parent is important.
And being present with your kids and not letting your spouse brainwash them.
But also, he should have never gotten married in the first place.
Yeah. And if he did, he should have found a woman who loved the sea as much as he did and understood that he was just going to be gone. Because here's the thing. He offered to take Arandias
with him. He was like, come with me.
Come with me.
Like, I will show you what I'm doing.
The thing is, the Valar had blessed the Númenorians that their ships would never come to any horrific harm. I think they probably got battered, but that they wouldn't just, every time they went out, they just all wouldn't be wiped off the face of the planet. The Valar had blessed them to be a good seafaring people. So he's like, come with me. It's safe. Come, we'll go on the seas together. You can come to Middle Earth with me. And she's like, no, I'm not going with you because I hate the sea so much because she's your mistress. He tried. For a hot minute, he tried to be a good husband. And she had to slap it back in his face. So anyways, anything else we want to go over from that chapter?
I guess we can, I think it'd be good to try and speculate what Rings of Power is going to do with this whole thing. Because this is going on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't. Well, okay, so
they're gonna compress the timeline. But if Gil-galad sees meteor alien Sauron falling from the sky, this is the guy that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah,
he should have told her to go over to see
would have solved everything. Tolkien never wrote about anything down. But I would not be surprised if it ultimately he intended that Sauron had influenced, I don't know how to say that. Sauron decided that Númenor was a problem around, and that tracks with this dude. Because his rule was eight something.
Yeah.
8 something.
8 something to 9 something, roughly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that tracks. That absolutely tracks. So yeah,
we're supposed to talk about this guy.
What?
About the king, this story? If
you have your Return of the King there, don't you?
Yeah.
Because there's so in the Return of the King, we have so the next part of the Unfinished Tales is the line of Elros. And it's basically just a quick summation of all 25 kings of Númenor and this is who they married, this is how long they ruled.
Right.
Here's any accomplishments they made. If you can look, if he is mentioned in the, I can't remember which appendix it is. It's called like the Rule of Years, I think, in the appendix. If he's mentioned, then yeah, I would assume that we're going to get something of who he is. Because if Galgalad is looking at Sauron falling from the sky, just fudgesicle. They will make it. I mean, if they have the audacity to pull from the Unfinished Tales and his story, then yeah, they'll of course make him husband's bad, wham and power good. So where that happens in Rings of Power, I like, all jokes aside, Shield Wall, I literally can't tell you. I don't know. Because a lot of what we got, and the Thad that shouldn't be, he's our encyclopedia. If you know, please drop it in chat. But a lot of what we've read of the Second Age thus far has centered around Númenor. I don't really know what Gil-galad and what was going on in Lindon. I hope that we get more information. Well, the next chapter is the history of Gil-galad and Kelleborne, or excuse me, Kelleborne and Galadriel. I hope we get more information in the 13 histories we're going to read about what was going on.
In the days of Tar Elendil, the first ships of the Númenorians started coming back to Middle-earth. His elder child was a daughter. Her son was blah blah. Lord, yeah, okay. He is mentioned in the appendix.
He is, okay. Then we'll get some bastardization of his story.
Yeah, and it talks a snippet about his story. The sixth king left with only one daughter. She became the first queen, for then it was made a law of the royal house that the eldest child, whether man or woman, should receive the scepter.
Mm-hmm.
And first sign that the shadow was to fall upon the appearance of Yep.
Yeah, you're right, Bob. We're
gonna get this story. This story that we're just discussing now. We're gonna get it.
Yeah,
we're not gonna probably get the lady or the marriage, because it doesn't really talk about his wife at all, because she wasn't there much. But it does talk about his daughter. It talks about him and how he helped Gil-galad. Yeah.
Well, I bet they will make the reason he was always gone to sea is that he was gay. Yeah,
I would not be surprised.
Neither would I. So yeah, this last little bit is just basically the line of kings. Again, it's not all that earth shattering. I mean, it's funny. Ar-Pharazôn and Tar-Mariel, the last king and queen of Númenor, they get a couple sentences, whereas the others got like whole paragraphs. So, and Christopher puts a note. He's like, "See the Silmarillion. You want to know their story? Just look at the Silmarillion."
He's like, yeah, man. Just read the things."
Exactly. Annatar met Kelleborne in 1200 Second Age. Ar-Pharazôn became king in 13555 Second Age. The compression that they're doing in Amazon's show is insane. It is. It's like, I mean, this story alone was 200 years long.
Yes. And that is where they first started. So I think I know what's going to happen in the Rings of Power. So that meteor, Gil-galad's, the shadow is rising. That's going to be the meteor falling. And then Sauron, for the next 1,000 or several thousand years, is going to build up his armies.
Yep.
This is going to be the flashback. I bet you this is going to be the flashback that we get in that first episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Again, we've come to this over and over and over again. How can they tell the history of Middle-earth without having access to the Silmarillion? It'll be interesting because Galadriel's supposed to be hunting down Sauron's forces. The way that they framed this, it sounds like they've already had a big battle with Sauron. So I wonder if they're going to take, like, say, the last battle of Morgoth and just replace him with Sauron to give them a starting point.
I mean, if they're going, if you guys look at Fellowship of Fans Twitter that they've pinned on their thing, because I'm not blocked by them yet, their running theory is that the elf that we see that's surrounded by orcs is Finrod. If that is the case, there's a lot of stuff, because he also gives over the Ring of Barahir. So there's that ring. He gets captured by werewolves, or he gets tortured by werewolves because of another. Oh man, they don't have access to any of that.
No, they don't.
How are they going to tell Finrod's story then? Because Finrod's story spans thousands and thousands of years. He's the reason the men, like the men of Beor, become friends with the elves. If it wasn't for Finrod, men and elves probably wouldn't be friends.
I have no idea.
They're probably going to do Elrond as Finrod's like tutor, and he's going to be like, hey, we had some bad dealings with the elves because of the Night of Tears, because that is mentioned. We need you, Elrond, to fix this. I bet you that's going to be the storyline.
Probably. I remember they were invented a character named Arda, who's the main villain of season 1. Not Sauron, not any evil king of Númenor. Nope, a made-up character. Yep, absolutely. Who, by the way, that made-up character is going to be on Return of the King in HarperCollins' reprinting of the
that
TV
thing
Times.
that we thought was Sauron. No. That's not Sauron.
That's Arda, the daddy, the elf daddy. This show is going to be confused dumpster fire. Amen. Too much to type, but in canon, there was a war of Sauron against the Aragon right after he forged the One Ring, which ends before Númenor ever gets involved. Okay.
Yes. Are they gonna do that? Are they gonna switch Finrod's story to that one? To where he dies in that one?
That's possible. That's entirely possible.
Because he is captured by Sauron and tortured by Sauron, but it was still in the First Age while Melkor was still the main evil dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna piss off Fellowship of the Fans. It's very tempting, but I'm not gonna piss them off because I don't have access to the One Ring net anymore. So I'm not gonna as much as I want to poke at them. I'm not going to say anything to them because obviously they've got the inside access now, and I want to see what they say over the coming months. So,
because I get the flashback that we're told is that's Finrod being captured, but which time?
Yeah,
is the first time, the second time, like,
yeah. I don't know. Anyways, okay.
And when is Galadriel going to become the leader of the army?
Yeah, he also should be dead. He should be very dead. He's dead. He's lots of dead. Yep, he did die in the First Age. Kelleborne was captured in that age. He was tortured and died. Yep. I don't know. Do they have access to the rights of Ungoliant? Sorry, I'm not good at the Lord. If Ungoliant is mentioned in the appendix, if any of the appendix, she's mentioned in Lord of the Rings. She's mentioned in Lord of the Rings. So yes, they can pull from Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and the appendices. That's what they've got access to. I'm sorry if you heard that car. Galadriel is supposed to be fulfilling the Legolas role as Amazon tries to copy. Yeah, yep. So, anyways, all right. Anything else you'd like to add, Mando, before we wind down?
Zax, we haven't mentioned any hobbits yet. Hobbits are not mentioned until the Third Age at all. Nothing.
It's not Middle Earth. Sorry, Rosie. Yeah, we're deep spring cleaning my house, and my mom and I are cutting the duties in the kitchen. So I gotta go get elbow deep in suds and wash the counters. And do all the cabinets. So I unfortunately have to get going. But I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed this story, but it was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm loving the Unfinished Tales. I really am. But man, these people got issues.
I feel like the reason why these tales are unfinished is because Tolkien was going through a difficult life or a difficult phase in his life. And he's like, I don't want to finish this because that was a difficult phase in my life that I don't want to go back to.
Yeah. Where are the dwarf women at? When we find them, we will tell you, Shieldwall. We will tell you. Okay, so next week we will be on Mando's channel. You know what? I think for once I'm gonna drop the link to your channel. We will be on Mando's channel, same time. And we are going to do the thing that I am most excited about. The whole reason I wanted to read the Unfinished Tales is the history of Galadriel and Kelleborne, which again, if you remember in the introduction that Christopher wrote, the history of Kelleborne and Galadriel is the most important to the entirety of the Second Age because their story, let's see if I can find it. Christopher wrote that their story brings together virtually all the unpublished materials for the history of the Second Age in Middle Earth. They are literally the center of everything. And their story revolves around all of the stories of the Second Age of Middle Earth. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about Kelleborne and Galadriel. But I'm sad. Even with the appendices that go to this story, this is a pretty short story compared to some of the others we read. But well, such is life. And then we'll be on to the Third Age. So yeah, next week, chapter 4 of the Unfinished Tales.
Page 232 for those of you who are keeping up with the Unfinished Tales in this copy.
Yes. He does, Rosie. He does. He looks Sauron straight in the eye and tells him to go to hell. That man has a iron set. That's why I love him.
His spine is titanium and his unders are iron.
Yes, they are. And they're big.
Man, next week, and are we just gonna do the history of Galadriel and Kelleborne?
I think so,
or are we also gonna do? Oh yeah, that's a lot. Never mind. Yeah.
No, it's enough. With their appendices, yeah. And then we'll be diving into the Third Age.
Please next week, out of any of the weeks please make sure to tune in next week because this is going to hit on Galadriel's character so hard. Like, this chapter is going to discredit everything that Rings of Power is doing just in itself.
Yes.
Literally, it's going to be the reason that, like, for anyone who is questioning, wasn't Galadriel, blah, blah, blah. No. We are about to tell you the story of Galadriel.
Yes. Mando dropping some fire.
Yes, because if out of any chapter I think that we're going to read for the next however many weeks until September, I think this is going to be one of the most important ones because of what they are specifically doing to Galadriel's character. Like, Galadriel in the movies, like in the books, I love her. She's my second favorite character. But she's one of my favorite characters because of her, all of the I'm gonna cuss because I have to. All of the fucking shit she has been through, for them to do what they're doing to her character is unacceptable. It's unacceptable because of all of the crap that she has had to go through. She has had her family members die in front of her. She's had friends die. She's had people attacking her. She's had to face off against Morgoth, and Sauron. This is ridiculous. What they are diminishing her character in such a way that is disgusting.
Yeah, it really is. Absolutely. Same time or different time since no, same time, 10:30 Central.
Same time.
So same time on Mando's channel. So we switch back and forth every week. So we'll be on Mando's channel next time, same time. So is Kelleborne your Tolkien crush then? No, it's Elrond, but Kelleborne is a very close second. Yeah, Kelleborne and Elrond. I love Elrond's whole line. I just love that whole line of the family. Like Arwen. Arwen is my favorite female character. I just love her fortitude, and I love how faithful she stays to Aragorn. I just love everything about Arwen. But Elrond is my crush. But yeah, if Kelleborne's asked, don't get me wrong, I would not say no. Hi, Nerdportal. Thank you so much for being here. We are getting ready to sign off, but thank you so much for stopping in. We deeply appreciate it. I got to get you on the show sometime.
Nerdporial, it'll be on my channel next week. Same 10:30 Central Standard Time. That's when we do all of our Literary Soul Sisters. Is 10:30 Central Standard Time on Saturday. It'll be either on Alade's channel or my channel.
Yep. Rosie Cotton is my favorite character. If you can, that just does not surprise me at all.
To be honest, for those of you who are going to ask, Gandalf is my favorite character of all time.
Really, that's awesome.
I love Gandalf.
That.
And then it's Galadriel.
Yes. She gets bullied by her brothers too, apparently. I know, because the daughter of a goddess.
That goes against who's Finrod's character. Finrod would never have allowed that to happen. Even if it did happen, Finrod in the books is told, his description is he is the kindest, nicest person in all of Middle Earth.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Later, my dears. Mando, quickly, where can they find you other than YouTube?
YouTube, I am primarily on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Untamable Life, where I stream Mario Kart on Mondays. I stream with my friend Nick Tentanaries on Wednesday early afternoon, and then I play Witcher 2. I'm going through all of the Witcher games on late afternoon on Wednesdays, Witcher Wednesdays, and then on Friday mornings around 10:30 Central Standard Time, I play Fortnite. Or maybe something else around that time. And you can catch me on a lot of other different channels on Twitch and YouTube. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. And I did remember this week, put all her links down in the description of this video. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, I have a surprise special guest on my Sunday chill stream. It's just going to be the two of us, and we will be hanging out talking about things. So if you want to know topics and who it is, you have to tune in. Not to be a tease, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So
yes. And I am so sad that I'm gonna miss it.
Oh, it's okay, dear. I'll keep it up. I absolutely does not matter. So thank you all guys so much. Shout out to Salty Texas for coming on for the first 20 minutes. We appreciate it. You guys are amazing. We love and appreciate every single one of you, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.